So now we have added these components here. Let's see how we can bring it all together in this assembly. But before we do that, let's save this assembly. So I'll go to save option right here and I'll save it locally. So save to this PC, rebuild, and I'm going to save it in the same folder. So I'll call it test assembly. All right, and click on save. So our assembly is now saved. Let's start with this component. Now, using mates, you can properly place these components, and currently it is just free to move in this space, but we'll apply some mates, and the mate option is right here. So select mate, and this will show, well, this mate option. Now, currently we have different categories of mates. We have standard, mechanical, advanced. Well, these are the three mate categories, and also we have this analysis where you can basically do the motion analysis of your assembly. We'll talk about all these things one by one, but let's first start with the standard mates. Now inside the standard mate, we have the first option where you can select the entities like faces, edges, surfaces, and so on, which you want to mate, and then you can select from one of these mate types. If you select faces, SolidWorks will automatically recommend for you the most suitable mate, but you can also select any other mate which you want. Now here we have this mate option which you can expand, and it will show you all the mates that are applied on that component. We'll just keep it collapsed. And then we have some options. Here, these options are show preview. If you want to show or hide the preview, keep it on. And if you want to show a pop-up dialog where these mates will show right next to your cursor, then keep it checked. In my case, I will keep both of these checked. Also, we have an option here called make first selection transparent. Now, usually I keep it checked because this ensures that as soon as I make a selection, that component becomes transparent, allowing selection of other components a lot more easier. So you can also keep this one checked. So with these default settings, let's start with this face. So I'll select this face, and as you can see now this turned transparent, and now we can just select all the other components. So after selecting that, just orbit your drawing and select another face. Now in this case, you don't need to control select it. And as I selected these two faces, automatically it will show this kind of pop-up dialog box. And all of these mates are exactly the same mates that we have here. So the same mate will show up here. You can select from here or here. It's exactly the same thing. Also, it will automatically highlight the most relevant mate in this case, which is coincident. Of course, you can select this, or if you want to select any other mate from this list, you can select that as well. Now, in my case, I will select maybe this parallel mate. All right, there we are. Now this face and this face, they are going to remain parallel. After that, we have an option here called alignment. Now, you can make it aligned or anti-aligned. Now, when it is aligned, the material direction will be exactly the same. So material is added here, and here also material is in this direction. But if you make it anti-aligned, well, the direction of material is reversed. So just in case you want that, you can switch the alignment using these options. So in this case, I've applied the parallel mate, and that's what I want to do. And with that, I'll simply click OK. All right, so the first mate is added, and now I'll click OK to exit out of this. Here in the mate option, we now have the very first mate, which is parallel, added. Now with this mate, these two faces are now going to remain parallel, even if I move it. So if I move it, well, look at this, it is still parallel. So it's just going to remain parallel. And if I try orbiting it, look at this, it will orbit, but it will also remain parallel. It's not going to change the angle. So now that we have this parallel mate added, let's add all the other mates. So we want this face to coincide with this one. And for that, once again, I'll go to mate and I'll select the two faces. So I'll select the first face and then I'll select this second face. And well, as you know, we want to make it coincident. So I'll select coincident and click OK. Done. But still it is free to move, and it is coincident, it is parallel, but still we need few more mates to make it fixed. Now, instead of selecting the faces once again, I'll exit out of this, and now I'll use a slightly different approach. In this case, I'm just going to select the faces first. So I'll select this face and I'll select this face. And in this case, I'll press and hold Control to select both of these faces. Once you have selected the faces, you can also go to mate, and automatically it will apply the most relevant mate. In this case, coincident. Now click OK and done. So we have the mates applied and now it is free to move in this direction, and we want to keep this freedom here because we want this slot to move well slightly here. So we just want to keep a little bit of room for the movement here, and that's why I have selected the parallel mate instead of making these two coincident. Because if you make it coincident, it will become completely locked. But with parallel, it will remain parallel, but also it will move freely about this slot. All right, so that's done. Now we have applied all of these mates right here. The next thing that we need to do is just replicate this for this side. To do that, I'll simply copy and paste it. So you can just go to insert component and insert one more copy of this. You can definitely do that. But rather than inserting the same component again, you can simply select it from the feature manager, press and hold Control and drag it and drop it out. And that's going to create a copy. You can do the same with your drawing area. So inside the drawing area, select your component, press and hold Control and drag it and drop it. So you can just create copy like this as well. Now we have a new copy. So we have side plate and then another side plate is also added. Now that's the side plate instance number. So as the side plate was added 3 times, its instance number is 3. So that's the side plate 1. Side plate 2 was deleted, and then we have this side plate number 3, which is added here. If you add one more side plate, if you just delete this one and add maybe one more side plate, its instance number will be 4. So we have side plate number 4. All right, so we have the side plate added here. Now we need to change its orientation. So I'll just change its orientation like this. All right, and once again, we can apply the same set of constraints. So parallel, coincident, and coincident. So I'll quickly do that. And here we are. So we have got these two plates added. With that, I'll click OK and I will save it.